Alright everybody, welcome back to Chapter 2 of the First Age, The Doom of Dorthonion. This is a campaign set in the First Age of Middle-earth. It basically covers part of the Silmarillion book penned by J.R.R. Tolkien that was unfortunately published posthumously. This will be Chapter 2. For this game we're using the Heroes and Hardships RPG system, D10 Dice Pool RPG system. Go on to Drive Through RPG, check it out. It was published by Owen Tetnak, who's with us tonight. He's playing Estedir, and also with us tonight is Wanderer playing Terenion. Lyneth, Emma's not going to be with us any longer on this campaign, and Effie is not able to make it tonight. So let's get started. You guys should be able to see the little map here, right? Is your site working okay?
Yeah, I see it. Sorry, I was muted.
Yep. Cool. All right, there you go. Introduction, Chapter 2. In the days following the siege of Himring, the enemy did not rest. Though they at first receded like a black wave into the sea, they soon crested, encircling the mountains themselves and flooding through the pass of Aglon. But Maedhros was not without hope, for in those few days he gathered what strength he was able and sent out sorties from his own realm, even as flames flickered in the north, and smoke rose from the ruins of Ardgalen. To his kin in the east he sent archers and messengers, fleet of foot and keen of sight, and to the west, towards Dorthonion and the kingdoms of the house of Finarfin, he sent a force led by Terenion. Estedir was also in their number. And to Lyneth, Medra said, "With you lies a gift most precious in all of Arda. To you do speak the beasts and the birds of this land. The trees hold counsel with you, and the streams whisper their secrets. Go now, with a small number of your choosing, and make wary those creatures of Varda who fly and swim, and do not tread this middle earth on 2 feet. For in the coming days their fate may be joined with our own, and perhaps they may be allies in our struggle against the Lord of Angband." And so Lyneth departed, and with her she took Quiet, a human of the house of Beor, and her uncle, named Florin. And so now we find Terenion and Estedir, not alone but with a number of elves. They have crested the Ring of Himring, and now descend the mountain's western slopes. Before them is the pass of Aglon, dotted with fires of orcs and other foul creatures. They must reach Dorthonion and perhaps the lands farther west, but their path and their fate is yet undecided. Go ahead and move you. And several days have passed since the siege, and you thought it was going to be easy going after the siege, but the enemy has regathered strength and again assaulted the castle. For now you feel like Maedhros is going to be able to hold them off, but he's not going to be able to leave. He's going to have to stay in the circle of Himring and only send out messengers like the two of you and your companions, both to the east and west. It's still cold, especially towards the top of the mountains. This is one of the highest points in all of Beleriand. But as you descend the western slopes surrounding Himring, the light starts to fade. 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And down, way down below you, even a day's journey away, you see the entire pass of Aglon just kind of lit up with these sparks of fire. It look like fireflies in the night. And you can only assume the worst. You can only assume that hundreds, if not thousands, hosts of Orcs, wolves, all sorts of foul beasts are down below. Unfortunately, you have to make your way past them. And I'll open it up to you for roleplay.
I'll let my uncle start.
Terenion is never at a loss for word, it seems.
Terenion reins his horse in on the path they're on, down the slope of the mountain, and surveys the route ahead of them, and seeing so many of the enemy between them and their destination, he frowns grimly and starts scanning for any obvious patterns, any gaps in the enemy forces, any places they might find cover. Because much as his preferred approach to things is direct, he understands that to charge headlong into such numbers of the enemy would just be suicide. So instead he reins in and makes sure that his men have some cover, and then turns to Estedir and says, "What do you make of this, my nephew? I would hear your counsel."
It looks like sudden death if we are not careful. It's just the two of us, right, Bo?
You could have a small force. I would say not more than a dozen or so. Yeah.
Sure.
We'll just narratively.
Yeah, really, we must be careful. I believe stealth is the best option. Trying to find a way around. These orcs will be plentiful, but they will be stupid. And if we are smart, perhaps we can slip by them. But I wonder about these equine we ride. They would be good if we are actually found to run away quickly, but they may give us away as we go.
And much as the senses of orcs are dull, they are not the only forces that our enemy has mustered. There are those creatures that Sauron commands, the wolves who walk as men, and other fell creatures. Some of them have much keener senses than orcs. But our path lies beyond them. And he frowns again and looks uncertain.
Well, if a wolf can smell us, it can smell a horse. Perhaps it does not matter overly much. Or perhaps they would just think it's a horse and leave it be, and maybe the horse's scent will overbear ours. Perhaps it will be actually a boon, and not a bane.
Perhaps. The scent of horse is stronger in the nostrils of fell creatures than that of the elven kind. Bo, I'm just looking at the path ahead. Is it as sort of thickly forested here, or are we talking quite open ground that we've got to cross?
Yeah. It's thickly forested on the initial parts of your journey. It's a good place to chat about this, because you are still probably, you have to pick your way down the mountain through switchbacks this way and that way. And I'm going to move your tokens here, get another little atmosphere shot. The first part is certainly thick. And then towards the end, once you're getting down towards the past of Aglor, it starts to open up a little bit. One of the Maedros' men even says to you, Estedir, our Lord has spoken most highly of you. From the west you came, across the frozen wastes. You were our leader of elves and men upon the siege of Angband, and yet you are here by my side. If I sense some apprehension in your eyes, Estedir, What of me and my fellow comrades? Should we take heart or should we cower? What lies ahead?
Whatever lies ahead, do not cower. We will meet our fate standing up. That is all I can promise. I only speak truth. I would not sit here and lie to you and say our task is easy or without toil, for that would be a lie, and I do not lie. It will be dangerous, and we may fail, and if we fail, we will end a gruesome death, certainly. But if we succeed, we can save hundreds, perhaps thousands, and so the risk that we bear is worth it. And if we would sit on our haunches and look around us and inspect the fires from afar, it may not be this day or the next day we die, but eventually we would, and so would everyone we know. Every human, every Eldar, every single living thing that is not touched by the blackness of Morgoth. It was good until then.
Yeah, great. Terenion nods, and yeah, there's a fair amount of respect in his eyes as he looks at Estedir, and he turns and says, "My nephew speaks the truth. Our way is perilous. Our foes black-hearted and implacable. They look upon us with such reckless hate that there can never be peace, never be rest while they draw breath. We cannot simply retreat to Himring and other fastnesses and wait for the tide to break upon them. We must take action. And if such action means that we give our lives in the service of the cause of our people, then I shall go to my death gladly. But do not lose hope. We still have all the cunning and the power of the Eldar. They will not take us easily." And he smiles. It's a little bit of a cold smile. There's never that much warmth in his smile, but it's, for him, it's a genuine smile.
Yeah, the elf says, "Well then, we shall count our number blessed to be among you. The house of Finarfin seems to have more hope than Lord Maedhros. The curse of his father hangs heavy upon Himring, and ever does it cloud his judgments, although I dare say my lord's judgment is more sound than his brother's. Still, I am grateful to be in your company, Terenion. If we do meet our end, let it be worthy of song. Though you have worry in your eyes, who would not in this situation? I will follow you where you lead. Onward, Terenion. Estedir of Dorthonion. The soldiers of Maedhros are at your back."
And Terenion nods to him and then sort of rises up a little in his saddle and addresses the men, the elves under his command, and says, "Soldiers of Lord Maedhros, a dark path and a dark journey lies upon us. Our way is to the west, but always the eyes of the Eldar have looked to the west. We journey towards our home, not just the home of my people in Dorthonion, but the home of us all in the uttermost west. Let the western horizon in your eyes bring you hope, and a reminder that all things, even the darkest, must pass. Travel on with hope in your hearts, and the salvation of our people as your cause." And then he turns away and nods to Estedir and starts to slowly pick his way down the mountainside.
Yeah, the way I see it is a really cinematic kind of camera panning back over the mountains like we see kind of in the Fellowship of the Ring films. And as you give that soliloquy, Terenion, you guys are kind of going down this craggy staircase, your boots clip clopping on the steps. You're probably having to lead your horses down to this point. Then, as you say that, as the sun kind of fades into the west, that bright shaft of sunlight pierces the dark clouds that have flown down from the north, and you guys kind of get a little bit of warmth as you descend further and further into the valley. At this point, we're going to introduce our homemade travel rules here. So you guys should be able to see this. So
Isn't everything homemade at this point?
It's all homemade.
Homemade by someone else. There you go.
Fairly simple travel rules, but I think they'll give us a little bit of context for roleplay. So for each day of travel, step 1 is to appoint a guide or navigator. Now, we don't have Quiet with us, so if you guys want to use leadership for this instead, I'd be down with it. So if you make a challenging survival or lore check, you get 1 benefit on checks for the rest of the group. And then for each day of travel, you roll stamina at the difficulty of the terrain. You're going down through moderate terrain right now, so it's going to be a TN21 roll. If you fail, you get a -3, so an injury, and that kind of sticks around till you guys make camp or have some sort of rest that you wouldn't otherwise take. If you fail by more than 1 level, so for example, if you are in hard terrain and you roll a 15, that triggers an event from the event table that I've conjured. So let me know.
When you say injury, you mean injury, like
The -3, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And that would go away, like, if you took more time to rest than you otherwise would.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, I was just making
that.
sure. Okay. Let me see here. Do I have leadership? Is definitely going to be you. I got nothing.
So survival, lore, or leadership?
My survival is what? 2. Lore is 0.
My lore's pretty decent, I think. Yeah, and I get to add my status skill ranks as well.
Yeah, my survival's 2, but my intelligence is only 3.
Right. So let me have a quick look here. Yeah, my lore's only 1, but I do have 3 knowledge, so probably the best bet. Rely on what I know of the area.
Yeah, this is just to give you guys a bonus. Yep.
Okay. And I'll get what's my status? Status is 3, so I'll get +3 to that. I'll give that a go if it's okay with you, Ted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So Terenion is racking his brains for what he knows of this area, what he's heard and read, anything he knows about easier or harder paths, any secret ways, yeah, he's going to give this a go. Actually, I might give leadership a go. Actually, no, I said law now. I'll give law a go. Okay, so 0 benefits, additional mods +2.
Oh, pretty good. I mean, you just don't get a benefit. So you do lead them down the path. You tried a few shortcuts you may have heard about, but it's been 500 years. Even in Elvis memory, falters from time to time. You have to make a few switchbacks. And so...
also, the forest is a living thing. It changes a lot in 500 years.
But that was better than 15, so at least I want you to do a little world building for me. So these ruins, look how old they look. So before you guys came over, there were still the Sylvan elves here, right?
Gross.
These are the elves that never made it into the west. So tell me about these ruins here in Himring that are even old compared to you guys.
They're ruins because the Sylvans made them, obviously.
Yeah.
Terrible craftsmen.
That's why they're crumbling. So tell me about that. Just how we did with in our D&D game.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You get to make a little bit of the backstory. So tell me about this little pathway you guys are going down, because It obviously wasn't built by you folks.
Yeah, this was actually originally it's just out of sight here in this picture, but the path actually curves up and around to the ruins of a watchtower that once stood on a high point here. It has a great view of the surrounding terrain, and I I'd guess that Morgoth's domain has been a threat for a very, very long time. The Sylvan Elves had watchtowers here on the edge of the mountains, watching in that direction. But in time, the towers were, a long time ago, the towers were overrun, and they never took them back, and they've fallen into ruin.
So as you explain this, the rest of Maedrose's men kind of take it in stride, but then their hearts are actually bolstered because they realize that for how many hundreds or thousands of years before they even crossed the Hellcracks, that there were others here even before them, others that had to deal with the darkness that until recently was imprisoned beneath the mountains of St. Gorodrim. And so their hearts are steeled, and a silence falls over them as you guys descend into the valley and the sun starts to set. So Terenion and Estedir, stamina checks at moderate, so 21.
Okay.
Bo, I would like to spend a fate point to make. Well, it's just injured. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it then. I had to burn this fate point. Yeah, I figured I would fail. That's a really bad roll.
Oh, what's the mine?
That's the same. Okay, we take an injury.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, suffer an injury. Okay.
So as you reach, the fires get brighter and brighter as you start to reach the bottom of the mountain valley, and the sun starts to set in the west. And now you guys need to decide whether you need to push on through the valley up towards Dorthonion through the night, or if you want to rest. About half of the men, we'll say, they're not complaining, but elves don't complain. But you can see the shoulders are a little stooped, and just like Terenion and Estedir, they're feeling a little down. As you've descended out of Himring, it's like the foul wind from the north has filled the vale, filled this pass, smothering heat and ash and soot. We all know what that smells like, that smell of fire in the air, and it is just ever present now. And half of them say that we should stop for the night, and the other half say, we press through the night. Our kin in Dorthonion, they must be dealing with worse than we are. What is a few orcs in the path of elves? And so it's up to you guys, your leaders, to decide what you do.
Terenion will take Estedir aside and say, nephew, I would take your counsel again. Ahead of us we have a dark path. The men are tired. They need rest. But every moment we delay is a moment where our kin may be dying. And also, perhaps, if we press on, we may get through the worst of it by morning. But if we press on and are wrong, then our men will be fighting tired. And things would fall ill if we were to encounter orcs thus. And he looks at Estedir.
Well, it is true that we are harried from all sides, and speed is of the utmost importance. But I wonder if we do travel by day under the sun, perhaps it will alleviate some worry from the orc, as they do not do well under the bright shining star above, and give us an advantage. It is a difficult choice either way. He kind of gives a bit of a shrug.
Bo, do we reckon if we pushed on tonight we could be through the bottom of the valley by morning?
Yes.
And
Valley would be your second. I did some research about how quick you'd march and how far it is, because there's no shortage of maps of Middle Earth with scales on them by nerds, and it'd be about 3 days to get where the other mountain range of Dorthonion, where you're trying to get. So your second travel check would be at the end of the dawn, and then your third would be after you exit the valley. So you could press and get through.
Yeah, and I think this kind of fits. I know it might not fit mechanically, but narratively it kind of fits with the kind of the way that Tolkien kind of painted elves as untiring. Terenion will turn to address his men and say, "The hour grows late, and we are all tired. But I ask this of you, that we press on through the darkness, through the ranks of our enemy. That when morning comes, we may be closer to our home and our kin. This will be a dark night. We must be swift, but stealthy. But come the dawn, our enemy will no longer stand between us and our home." I think that's right, Nick. "And our hearts will be lighter." And he then looks them over to see how they're taking it.
Yeah, I think with that role play, the men's nerves will be steeled, certainly. You see them tighten their belts. One of them straightens their helmet. One of them, who has sprained an ankle on the way down. Do elves sprain ankles? In my world, they do. Looks pretty treacherous way down. He kind of like wraps his ankle up, and one of his best friends helps him up. "Come now. We have Terenion at our head. You've heard the stories, haven't you?" Yes, I've heard the stories." "Well then, don't you want to be part of the songs?" "Yes, I'd like to be part of the songs. Only I'd like to live to hear them sung." And they start to laugh, and it's a grim, serious laughter as they follow Terenion into the darkness. So tell me what that looks like as you go to the valley floor and start to head across the valley in between Himring and Dorthonion.
Yeah, so as Terenion goes down the side of the mountain, he thinks about how the men were encouraged to think about the historical context of all this, and he'll sort of drag through his memory and start thinking about all of the great journeys in history where heroes have had to push themselves hard to achieve a great goal. And he will start quietly recounting to the men, until we're too close to the enemy, he'll start quietly recounting to the men some of those stories, and kind of remind them that they're only great stories because the heroes had to go through great hardship for a worthy cause.
Yeah, maybe you bring up how their Lord Maedhros was hung from a cliff on Thangordrim for forever. Stuck it out. And he's like, "You think what you're going through is hard?"
Yeah. So, he'll probably do that, because he wouldn't have... Before he met Maedhros, he wouldn't have really used the House of Fëanor in positive stories at all, because he hasn't got a lot of time for that family. But having met Medros, he's got a lot more time for him than he expected, so he has no problem holding him up as a role model.
He's one of the couple good ones.
Yeah. Not that it does him much good in the end, but there we go.
All right, so tell me what it looks like as you guys, as the shadows fall, and you head down to the valley floor. I'll let Estedir tell me what that looks like as everything goes dark, and then I'm going to change the scenery a little bit.
They lead their horses down, perhaps the mountain being too steep to do so. Trying to be as quiet as absolutely possible. There's a hush over the men and Estedir and Terenion. Probably I would think Estedir usually sings songs, solemn songs as he walks, but he dares not even do this. He knows that the need of the people beyond these foul creatures is too great, and he will move stoically in silence with his eyes alert and his ears hopefully hearing anything around him. He keeps his bow nocked and at the ready as best he can.
Two back. There we go. Here's my nighttime trick. Cheap GM tricks. So it's time for a second travel roll as you guys enter the valley floor. It's more sparse. There's long grasses there. There's rocks, but then there's thick forests on either side, and that's where you hear every once in a while the guttural roar of orcs, and you see fires spring into being. At one point, Terenion, you stop the company. You stop the company like just before a huge, like, I won't call it an army, but a column of orcs kind of crosses your path. And they're crossing their path, and you can hear them marching. Don't have that one. You hear them marching, and you hear them singing their song as they march past. You guys all kind of are huddled behind a rock or a copse of trees. And you hear, they start to sing. From the deep we come, with blood and bone, with iron-shod boots we drum and drone. We will take what is ours, all that we mar, rivers we defile, forest we fire, all to remake with the mass desire. From Thangorodrim where the furnace burns, where the smithy turns and the whip cracks on bleeding backs. On the slaves suffer in the dark where the shadows are. Beneath the sky now, we cry and fly now, set free from the caves and the wolves of Hangman. Vampire and Balrog, dragon and dog, slay and flog, all hail Gothmog. And you stop your group of soldiers as these orcs just march, and it seems like they pass for like an hour, 2 hours, but in reality it was probably only 30 minutes. But you can see just like the numbers of the enemy really just seem unstoppable. I'll let you roll.
Trenion's gonna try and set a good example, because he's not particularly scared, but he's quite dismayed at just how many of them there are in how many places, because it reminds him just how outnumbered they are as on a larger scale. But he's got a particular leadership style, so he follows that, and he sits very upright in his saddle, and he makes sure that he looks completely unfazed, almost contemptuous of these orcs as they travel. So he makes sure he's well hidden, but he tries to look like he's not trying to hide. You know, he kind of tries to get that balance that they won't actually see him because he doesn't want to get all his men killed, but he will try and look to his men like he's not cowering or bowed by fear. And then he will sit absolutely bolt upright the whole time they're going past, no matter how tired he feels.
Yeah, Estedir's just being very quiet.
Yeah, trying to give me a leadership check. Just because of the great role play, I'll lower the difficulty, so it's 14 now.
Cool, thank you. Leadership.
There you go. So you will all get a benefit on your next travel check.
Great.
So that throng passes. And again, you travel into the night. You go underneath two giant statues. You can see it barely in the night. Like there's moon glinting on these two giant statues. They seem to be outreaching a hand to one another. Can either one of you give me a lore check?
I'm pretty bad.
Okay, I will do that. I've realised I actually had one more benefit with the because I've got two abilities that affect it, so I should have add status and knowledge. So that should be
Almost like you built your character to be thematic with your concept.
crazy. So that's 3 and knowledge is 3, so it's plus 6. So let's make that lore roll. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I just clicked through it. Let me try that again. It's additional mod 6. Hey.
So these giant statues, you see the one on the left is Finrod, and the one on the right is Maedros. And you can tell the men the story to even further bolster their spirits about how the years after Morgoth was closed up in Thangordrim, back then there was hope that everything would work out. The Silmarils would be recovered, the Sons of Fëanor would heal the rift between the elves, fulfill their oath. This never happened. But just tell that story about how there was hope of everybody coming together, but it never happened, and now you're in this situation.
I'm sorry. What was that? I'm really sorry.
Nope. Terenion made the roll, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. So yeah, you can let me know how you would further bolster the men's spirits.
Oh, sorry, I misheard.
Yeah. So knowing Finrod is on the left, Maedros is on the right. Like these things were probably built right after Morgoth was imprisoned, and everybody thought they'd be able to come together, but it just never happened.
Yeah. So he'll so Terenion will he'll talk to the men about how although the kindred of the Eldar have been separated into different houses and different kingdoms, times like this is when they always come together and they remember that the important thing is that they are all they're all elves, and even Sylvan elves versus Noldor, it matters less at times like this because they all know that they are they are all distant kin, but particularly among the Noldor, that their any sort of petty squabbles or distancing is all a thing of the past, because before them they have their true enemy. And before that kind of hatred, all petty squabbles must be forgotten.
All right. You pick your way, every once in a while stopping as a column of orcs passes through. At one point, you even hear like something that sounds like horses, but you stop behind a big, giant cliff, and down the path just runs. If you can think of like a herd of wolves, that's how many of them there are. There's just like hundreds, if not thousands. And they kick up dust, and you guys kind of come out into the gloom, stooping, leading your horses through the dark. The good news is that's flat terrain, and you have 2 benefits on your check this time. So it's your stamina check is going to be... Let me bring that up again.
Just remember the maximum benefit thing, right?
Easy.
Not that it'll matter for me.
So the TN will be 14. So 2 benefits. What's the maximum benefit thing?
So if you you can't roll more dice than double your attribute score.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you like had like say for instance my bow's dexterity, if I would take 2 benefits somehow, I would have an extra benefit, and that converts to a +3 instead. And if you have 2 more benefits than your maximum attribute score, or you double your attribute score, you keep an extra dice. It's just so the dice pools don't get crazy.
At the table.
Yeah, at
but
the
here
table.
in Cyberland, doesn't matter.
Well, it actually, I mean, it does mathematically. I don't want to get into it too much, but like the more benefits you have away from, the more dice you roll, well above your head that you keep, they mean less and less and less, statistically. Anyway, stamina. 2 benefits.
Oof.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 6-2, 6-2. -3 didn't help, but.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, are you going to press on or rest? I can't see it.
Oh. Yeah, I don't really want to camp here in this valley floor though, because this
Estedir's
is...
roll is one of the worst.
No, I mean Terenion's is worst result, but I guess yeah, the actual... Oh yeah, because Estedir was keeping 4.
He's keeping 4, man.
Oof. Yeah. Terenion is going to try and keep them moving if he can, and just kind of encourage them. He'll be pushing himself harder than any of them, in that he'll be riding to the front to encourage them, and riding to the back to help these stragglers along and encourage them. Yeah, he's gonna conspicuously show them he's working at least as hard as any of them, and not, he's not asking anything of them that he's not doing himself. He'll just remind them that they need to press on to get off the valley floor and out of the path of these orcs.
Oh, your speed will serve you well, at least in some respects. Although you're a little fatigued. So I guess you guys take another injury. -3. Yeah, I can think of another way to represent fatigue, but that's the best I can think of.
That's fine.
And it's -3 your rolls, so,
-6.
Yeah.
It's -6. So, you guys, a couple of like every group has them. A couple of the bumps in the back are starting to whine a little bit, saying that we're going to make a mistake. We need to stop. We need to heal ourselves. The guy with the sprained ankle is complaining a little bit. But then you guys skirt up a trail, kind of on the other side of the mountains. You hear a female scream. Ah! I hear a scream, and you hear her say, Back from me, you beast. Do what you want with my body. I will haunt you evermore. And then you see this is coming from what looks to be, and you see all these bonfires. You guys have like wisely been avoiding them because you're trying to get somewhere. But now you hear this voice cry out into the night, and then that's followed by just guttural laughter. Stand still, shell. You'll lose both hands if you're lucky. Maybe we'll take your eyes too before we're done, so we can see what becomes of your beautiful little body. And you guys are in the night kind of hearing this stuff.
Yeah, I would think Estedir would look to Terenion. These are his men. He's not going to put them at danger without...
Yeah, Terenion exchanges a glance with him, and they, and he's obviously very unhappy by what he's hearing. He turns to the men and says, "Who are the two swiftest among you?"
A few come forth, and you can see from their facial features, they both have their dark hair pulled back into a braid. But they look almost identical. They're twins.
He says, "You two ride on towards our destination. Ride on and find the kin of Finarfin. Bring them hope that Maedros still stands." And he'll pick up sort of prominent ridge on the mountainside ahead, and says, "Head for that ridge. Wait for us there for an hour. If we do not join you, then press on. Make what haste you can without injuring yourselves and your horses." And he turns to the men and says, "The rest of us, we will not abandon our kin to torment and death. Any who wish can go with these two. But any who do not wish to hear the screams of that poor woman as the elves torment and slay her, come with me, and let us make them pay for their hideous deeds." And he turns to Estedir and says, "I know you will ride with me, nephew."
Of course. He, or perhaps not. Perhaps I will stay afoot. I am not very good on a horse, uncle. How far away are the screams coming from?
Like 100 yards.
Yeah, he would...
How far? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, he would get on the horse for a while, and then as he gets closer, hop off and try to get in a good position. Pretty far away, actually. I want to really try to use my ranged, my sniper ability.
Amarin and Karis are the names of the twins. And they nod to Terenion, and you hear them. They get on their horses, and they just rip off through the night, just with a preternatural speed. They head up a cliff, and you can see them kind of outlined in the moonlight. You can see them even, they dismount their horses. You can see them unstring. You can see them take a bow off their back and start to put the string on their bows, because they're not going to be kept unawares. And they're going to keep overwatch and stay there for an hour, just like you commanded Terenion. Estedir, as you do that, you guys all get closer, and you hear one of the orcs say, "Oh there! The little elf, she can fight back! Oh, let's see how you do. Maybe about 2 of us, against 3 of us, maybe up against 5 of us." And you kind of hear laughter, and the fire, like, rises higher into the night, like somebody threw something on it, and you hear like not screaming of this woman, but like grunts and screams of exertion, like she's fighting.
And Terenion will lead the others in kind of entering in, and he'll say in Elvish to them. He'll say, Strike hard. Keep moving. And he himself is going to get ready to dismount and try and protect this woman. But he wants his men to kind of skirmish so they don't get bogged down because the orcs probably outnumber them and are stronger physically.
As you get closer, you see just a couple sentinels kind of outside the firelight of the camp. And these are kind of the stormtroopers of orcs. They're kind of like talking to each other. How fast you think they'll finish you off? I don't know, Miss Nag. They always finish them off. Who cares how long it takes? We're out here, beyond the firelight. I get no mutton. I get no beef. You get no mutton, you get no beef. Always out here outside the firelight. Such is our lot in life. Always meant to suffer. Outside the firelight. Never having any fun with any of the elves or the men.
Terenion will nod to Estedir, knowing what a good shot he is.
Yeah, Estedir just pulls back his bow and aims, and tries to put one right in the chest. He's gonna try to do it. He's gonna try to do it quick though. I would like to be at long range if possible. Not that it'll matter.
Oh, if you be at long range, you can aim and take all the time you want.
Yeah, because I have sniper, so it's not doesn't hurt me to be at long range. You said I could aim?
Yeah.
How many times can I aim?
Maximum aim if you want.
Oh, okay. So that's going to be. So that put me at 10 die 4. I'm going to keep 2 extra dice after this roll. Benefits 1, just 1 benefit. Oh, I have hold on, I'm sorry. Let me look at my character real quick. I gotta see. I got some extra. It's been a minute. My bow should always have +4. Okay. So my roll is 1 benefit for the first aim. Then I'm over my max, so I'll keep 2 extra dice, and I have 4 additional mods from gear level 1 and something else. No hardships. I'm technically use medium range dice penalties because of sniper. Yeah, here we go. So I would keep 2 extra dice. So I keep the 5 and the 4. So it's 9 greater. It's a 14.
Yeah. Minion. Enough to get him. So, narratively though, tell me you take out all the sentries.
Yeah, he does the first one. He just like. The first one's a very slow, like, draw and aim. Hits the guy right below the throat, where the chest meets the neck, in that kind of pocket. And then he just after he just releases that one, he doesn't even wait. He immediately knocks an arrow, moves to the next one, shoots, and does it until they're all dead. Hopefully doing it before they can actually cry out.
They cry out, but they just die in the dark.
Yeah.
The other elves and Madros kind of look at you. They give you the movie nod. And you guys creep in closer and closer. And as you see, there's a bunch of riffraff around, but there's an orc captain toying now, because she's unarmed at this point, bleeding from both of her cheeks. You guys pressed on through the night, so she's really not mutilated. It could have gotten a lot worse if you took your time. But let's see where she's at. And you guys recognize this elf, Lethiel. She's a sylvan elf that you guys found near that mirror pool up in Dorthonion. And she says,
"Oh yeah,
come towards me, foul beast. Finish me off. but don't think I won't kill you as you do it. Come now, he says. Ah, I faced more prickly creatures than you, little elf. Stay still. Perhaps I'll eat your liver first. And he starts to rush towards her, and she's dancing around, like trying not to get stabbed. He's like, come here, you little... And what are you guys doing?
So yeah, Terenion will direct the men. He'll leave the archers. He'll leave some as archers under Estedir's command, and then he'll take the other half to like skirmish with him. But what he's going to do is he's going to try and ride up and drop from his horse right in front of the orc captain, and yeah, see if he can get the horse to kind of interpose itself between them, and then he'll let the horse run on as he dismounts. But he was going to get in between the two of them, and then obviously make a speech as he gets off. But...
So, why don't you give me your roll first, and then you can tell me what it looks like. But I want you to do what's it? Riding? Riding?
Yeah,
Riding or driving? Is it
yep.
ride?
Yep. And I'm going to...
Yeah, it's just going to be 15.
I think I'm going to should I spend a fate? Oh, it's only 15. Okay, yeah, no, I'll just give it a go. Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
Man, we have been rolling pretty terrible in general.
Yeah.
So you get in there. I'm going to count this as an ambush for you guys. But you got to tell me what it looks like. It's like this fire's going. The elves just open up with their arrows. I don't know what Estedir is doing, but Terenion rolls in there on his stallion, just like dismounts right in front of this orc. What does that look like?
Yeah, so as Terenion gets off, he draws his... As the orcs are all sort of looking around and in shock as they presumably start to drop. He sort of rides in, draws his... he kind of lands impressively, draws his sword, and then starts unlimbering his shield. And his sword just kind of springs into blue light as he draws it. And he says, if you would try your blade on anyone, foul thing, try it on another captain. And then he sort of squares up to meet him.
All right, roll your initiative. And they're going to get a 1 to their initiative. I'll count this as an ambush.
He rolled a 23. I don't know why it didn't do the decimal.
Yeah, I might have made him. I think before I had the decimal point thing.
Yeah. He should get a hardship to his initiative roll too. By the way, you could just roll a d10 and subtract it from his initiative.
It'll be 1.18. There we go.
Didn't matter.
All right, you guys are going, and just narratively too, like all the other people are just like, you can imagine what it would look like an elf in ambush in the middle of the night on a bunch of like orcs that are like low ranking. This captain's still like probably a low ranking guy. So Estedir, you're up first.
Nope. Terenion's up.
Oh yep.
Okay.
Beat you by 1.
Yep.
0.01.
Yeah, so Terenion's going to try and take advantage of the fact that they're kind of reeling by moving straight in and attacking him if he can. I don't know whether he's close enough that he can just attack or whether he needs to
Yeah, you're right, Colonel.
Move first. Okay, great. So I am just going to... what am I going to do here? Let me just remind myself of some of the offensive actions here.
Pop out the new handy-dandy sheet.
Yeah.
Offensive disarm.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try that.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it's a risky thing to try against a skilled opponent, but I'm gonna try it. Oh,
So
actually,
one
no,
hard kill.
no, hold on. No, I'm gonna try and injure him first. So I'm just gonna do a straightforward attack with our calm roll first. Do I get any benefits on this?
For first round of the ambush, do they get a benefit on their attack?
No, it's all about initiative and AP.
Okay, so I've got fast draw, so I draw the weapon.
Your sword's already glowing, man. What else do you want?
Yeah, yeah, it's doing
It's
pretty
already
well.
a badass scene.
Yeah. Hold on. So what have I got here? So 4 pre-roll modifier and 1 benefit. Okay. So 1 benefit from my mastery and what's 4 modifier? Okay, 41.
41. He's going to try to dodge that. Actually, he's going to try to parry. Parry is 1 AP, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Oh, Jesus. Worse than his base defense.
Yeesh, that's a bad
All
roll
right.
from him.
That's bad.
Whew.
Okay. So 41. Okay, so it's going to...
28 to start.
So it's 28 plus... he has armor...
Yeah. 28 minus 3, 25 plus 5, 30. And then minus his armor on his head.
Let me see what his armor is on his head, this dude.
And then plus the damage. I didn't even add that part in.
Yes, 6 slashing, 4 piercing armor on his head.
So that's 24 plus 4. 28.
So 28.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't beat his mortality threshold. Doesn't cause a wound. Yep. So you get him for a wound. Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, so basically as he's still gathering himself, Terenion just immediately, almost as he's still speaking, just kind of lunges forward and strikes him across the right arm, trying to affect his ability to fight back. So he hits him and then kind of withdraws for a second and says, "Perhaps you fare less well against someone who is not a helpless captive." And then he sort of like glances back in her direction and says, "Not that I think you helpless, madam."
Well, they do take my weapons away. I am a bit helpless, but buy me some time, I'll get a sword. Just kill some of these beasts first.
With pleasure.
Alright, Estedir.
Okay. That's 3 AP. Terenion, by the way. I'm going to... If there's nobody else here, I'm just going to aim for 5 again. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. Aiming for 5.
Aiming for 5.
See if you need me by the time it's your turn.
Have AP.
I already added it, but
Oh,
no,
sorry.
you're fine.
You gonna change it
Yep,
back?
I got it.
Or-
Sorry.
Yep, Orc Captain. He's just gonna look at Estedir in front of him. He's going to give a reckless attack. And he's just going to go after him. Soon after the shield here is over half fire, we're going to have your red meat over a spit. Although I expect it would be stringy, sinewy, and not quite succulent enough for my taste. Perhaps I can give it to my... And he calls out the name of the guy that's like in the periphery of the camp or whatever his name is. And there's no answer. Oh, I've seen you done away with, my men. And he's going to do reckless attack. So I get 3 benefits.
Yep.
Did that say non-offensive action?
Yeah. No, non-defensive.
Oh, okay.
So you attack, and if you defend, then you still have the penalties.
Oh, got it. Yeah, makes sense.
32.
Okay, so
Wait,
I'm going
that
to try and...
didn't explode him. Didn't explode him, did it?
No. Just roll 2d10 and add it.
Yeah,
Or not, if you don't want. That's fine.
Oh, that's not too
Oh.
bad. That could be worse.
Cool.
Yeah.
So 36.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try and defend with Alcamro.
Use that fucking
Get
shield.
1 benefit because I'm defensive. Oh yeah, I've got the shield. What am I talking about?
Oh, he did try to dodge, so I'm going to add an AP to the orc.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, good point. So I'm going to use my... where's my shield? Couldn't see it.
I think it's supposed to be 6.18. But
Yeah, it should be 6 now.
I don't know. I got a lot of repeating 9s. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so my shield got defensive 2 and shield 2. So what does that give me? I also get 1 benefit.
Yeah,
for any defensive
shield
action.
2 is +2, and then defensive 2 is 2 benefits.
Okay, so I've got +2 and 3 benefits with my defensive ability. Okay, so that counts as... What do I roll for that?
What do you mean?
I'll just use the shield skill.
Yeah, just use shield. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, it wasn't on my combat menu. That's why I got confused. Let me try and find it. Shields. There we go.
We should probably put that on the combat menu for the next time.
3 and additional ones 2.
I'll
Okay.
put that in my note.
Blocked it.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
What does that look like?
So yeah, he swings in with a massive swing, but Terenion was watching his shoulders beforehand, and he telegraphed it. So he kind of sets his shield, and he's very good with his shield, Terenion. So he has no trouble deflecting the force of the blow, and says, "You'll pardon me if I do not take your threats too seriously. I am only threatened by those whose deeds match their words." And yeah.
It's like hitting him with a white glove. How dare He's like, what? What does that mean? What's a deed? What is a deed?
Well, I
You're
was
up
confused.
again,
I
Terenion.
stab him in the guts. Yep. So this time, knowing that he's overextended himself, I too am going to give a reckless attack. So
He's just going to use space defense at this point.
He gets
I
a
guess.
-5 on that, just so you know.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Does that change?
Yeah, it's a change from a little bit ago, so you can't just...
Yeah, he changes it. He changes it when I'm not looking.
I get 1 benefit anyway
13.
from my weapon mastery.
So
so another-
13 is base defense now, I guess, now.
Yeah, might not be so advantageous.
So I get a total of 4 benefits on this and a +4 modifier. Okay, 41. So yeah, this time Terenion's really trying to hurt him, knowing he's overextended himself.
So it's 41 minus 15. Ooh, head strike too, huh?
Yep.
Alright. So that's post-roll modifier,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, just take the rolls and average that out first, then you can do everything.
26 plus 5 would be 31.
Mm-hmm.
Plus
the damage 4. So 35 minus whatever his armor is on his head. I think you said 6.
6, yeah. So at 29.
Mm-hmm.
29, which is, I believe, above. Nope, not above its mortality threshold. Another wound. Two.
I think that puts you at 6, Terenion.
Okay. Cool.
Right?
Take that.
Did a standard attack.
That was reckless.
Oh, reckless. So you're at 7.
You
Okay.
are reckless.
Okay,
Alright.
so I'm going to shoot. I'm in the same position as last time. I can only use 1 benefit and then convert 2 dice to kept dice, so that's what I'm going to do. What range am I at? Still medium? It doesn't matter, I guess. Medium dice, if I'm a long or medium anyway. In this scenario. Come on, Rollo. Oh, okay. Well, I get to convert 2 of them, but I'm still good. Oh, I get a 0 because I added a 4 and I added a 3. Oh, his base defense is actually lower though. It's
Base defense is 15.
so his base defense is 15.
Oh no, 13.
13. So okay, so that put me at -2. I keep 2 additional dice. That's +7, so it's 5. Okay, so I'm at 5. That would 5 with a hit, head strike. So that's 9, and that's 14. Plus I have piercing. How much armor does he have on his head?
6.
So that'd be 3.
Wait, piercing armor.
Yeah, piercing. I'm at 14 right now.
Piercing armor on the head is 4.
So it subtracts 2 then. So I hit him for 12. I don't know if it did anything.
Injury.
Okay. Yep. Not great. Did I go through that too quick? I'm not trying to like
Nope,
go
makes
through it.
sense.
Okay. I like this better with reckless attacks. It doesn't like you can't just say, "Oh, my base defense. I'll just use my base defense, you know.
Nope. Well, I think people should use the base defense more. Doesn't add AP.
Yep, but like you can't just like rely on it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't have any penalty if I just use my base defense. Is what I mean.
He's got 2 wounds. He's toasted in front of this guy. I think we're going to just roleplay this because it's hopeless for this dude. He takes 1 more wound. He's gone. He says, "Oh no! I surrender, elf. You've bested me." And a lot of the other orcs in the camp have fallen. Terenion. He has what looks to be a dagger in his pocket. And as he says he's surrendering, he's slowly going towards it. He's slowly going towards this thing. Okay? So he's going to do a deception.
While he's slowly going towards it, I want to see if I can just kind of affect it. I don't know if you can do it with melee, but I'm going to aim.
Yeah, you can definitely do aim, but it's his turn. It's in the AP.
Right.
But yeah, you can
Oh,
you can
yeah.
aim either way. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
How's that happen?
Well, he has. Let's see. Bo, does he have any stamina?
Oh,
No.
If he hasn't, he needs. Then he would make a sway roll. So he needs to make a stamina roll versus. I don't even remember what. Challenging, I think.
I think his hardships exploded. That's why.
Yeah, his heart.
That's why.
Yep. Or you can just make him
So
pass out. It's up to you.
He had one explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just say he goes towards his dagger and he's like very slowly brings it up towards you. He's just so hurt. Like what's he going to do, this guy? He's not going to do anything. And all of his comrades in this little camp are hurt too, so we'll role play it out. What does it look like as he starts to bring out his dagger slowly up towards your belly?
So yeah, basically, Terenion's watching him, and as soon as he strikes at him, Terenion is just ready for it, and he effortlessly, he probably just sidesteps it because the guy's probably staggering as he tries to step in. So yeah, as he does that, he kind of steps out the way and then gets ready to finish him off.
So you finish him off.
Yeah. So as he staggers past, basically, Terenion just steps back with one foot, and then as he does a diagonal cut straight down across the guy's torso, shoulder to waist, and then just steps back and lets him fall.
As you look around, most of the orcs in this camp have been slain. The rest kind of flee in through the night. Lady Lithiel says to you, I normally would have said I could have handled that, but in this instance I don't think I could have handled that. I appreciate your assistance. You look somewhat familiar. Come here, elf, in this firelight. Let me get a better look at you.
Basically, Terenion will be sort of picking up the orc's dagger, and he'll step into the firelight and hold it out to her at the same time, and said, "Your courage is unmatched, but sadly you are unarmed and outnumbered. Your courage I do not doubt, but none can fight such numbers unarmed."
She takes the dagger from you, and she looks around the camp. Now that the orcs are no longer there, unfortunately, you guys can all see that there are just slain humans all around. The blood is just oozing down from the mountainside into the fire. Every once in a while, the blood actually reaches the fire. It just crackles and hisses. I'm the only one of my kind here. There were many men who were not so lucky, and women as well, and children.
Terenion bows his head for a moment and then says, "The time to mourn will come, but for now we must leave this place. Joining the fallen will not help them, or our kin who need our help. Please journey with us. We seek our kin beyond the mountains. But if along the way we can help you rejoin yours, we will be glad to do it."
She nods.
About that time, Estedir walks up from his position in the darkness and looks out over the two of them. "Is everything all right in here, Uncle?"
And Terenion nods, looks down, and he'll He'll say, I apologize. I seem to have forgotten my manners. I am Terenion. We met by a pool not many nights ago. In what seemed at the time dark times, but compared to this night, seemed peaceful and blessed. You perhaps remember my nephew Estedir.
She,
Yeah.
yeah, she nods. It seems like many years ago beneath the stars. I remember your faces. This was unexpected. What happened? My people have been resisting the darkness for so many years. And we were grateful for the Eldar who crossed the Great Sea, the Hellcracks. There was respite. We sang under the stars. We enjoyed the starlight. The moon graced our hair as we swam in the bodies of water in Dorthonion. But now, what is this? What is this doom?
Long have I feared that the enemy did not sleep quietly beneath the peaks of Thangorodrim. Long have I feared that he prepared and built armies in secret. But even I did not imagine such numbers, such ferocity, and that the mountains themselves would be such great foes, spewing their fire down upon our kin. And he just loses his words and kind of shakes his head and looks away.
She paces up and down the camp in the firelight. The firelight glints on her eyes, very dark eyes, dark hair, and she bends down and picks up one of the human swords who fell fighting and wipes it on the pants of one of the orcs, and then raises it. She says, "This is good steel." And Estedir and Terenion, give me a perception.
I'm decent at that. Let's see here. Senses. I see everything. Oh, I rolled a 23. But I got a -6 because I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Fatigued.
Fatigued. I'm tired.
Still good.
My bones are weird.
Estedir.
Hmm.
Estedir, you hear very faint in the distance the barking of a dog, and you see very faint outside the firelight in this skirmish. You see boot prints leading away from the fire, and as you kneel down, you see what looks to be the clasp of a cloak, and on it is emblazoned the seal of the House of Bayor.
Was this dog with Quiet the last?
Yep,
Okay.
yeah. Suddenly, this dog kind of runs into the fire like that, starts barking at you.
Yeah, Estedir heads over to it, looks at it. Hounds. He's
You probably never met the dog.
Yeah.
Maybe they talked about the dog.
Yeah, he just walks over to the dog because it's so weird that there's a dog right here, right, alive, and he looks at it kind of shocked. He has no real experience with hounds. He kneels down by the boot print though and grabs the clasp and looks it over. He looks over his shoulder and back up to Terenion. It looks like we have a crumb to follow, Uncle. And he kind of tosses the brooch up to him.
Yeah, and Terenion will look at it, say, "Sharp-eyed as ever, nephew." What does it look like?
It's a star, like a star pattern in the middle. not diamonds, obviously, but kind of polished silver, and on either side of it are two uh, intersecting circles.
Is it anything I recognise?
It's something I just made up.
I'm sorry. Now my emotion's broken. um,
Yeah, so the star, it's like you're the kingdom of men, and then the sons of Feanor, and then the other exiles as well. It's kind of what I
right,
had in mind.
right, cool. Um, yeah. So this was from one of the humans that was killed, we think.
I
Or that got away, probably from the footsteps. Got away
Oh,
somehow.
okay.
yeah.
Um, so, because I don't think Terenion saw the footprints, right? Did he? Or did he see it too?
Estedir saw them. I'm sure that you could probably point them out.
Yeah. Terenion looks at the dog. Says, perhaps this creature was a pet of one of the humans. Hounds have good noses. Perhaps it can follow the trail.
It is likely whoever the owner is, I would assume this belongs to them. So they would know the way best if the dog can follow commands. I am not my sister. He kind of waves to the dog. Follow the trail, or some such beast. He can't help but shrug and smile.
And Terenion smiles too. It never looks quite genuine when he does, but he turns to the men under their command and says, "Does any here have skill with such creatures?"
They kind of look to you, and the dog kind of darts through the underbrush. They kind of shrug.
Perhaps it just knows. If there is someone else of the Free Peoples, then we should see if we can help them. We should collect your men, Uncle, so they do not think we are killed.
Of course. And Terenion will send a rider up to go and get the two that are up there. But actually, he'll tell them to ride on because we're taking a sort of diversion. So he'll tell them that we're fine, but they should ride on ahead.
Yeah, Estedir would ask, should they take her? And he nods over to the elf maiden. I do not know how badly she is hurt.
That is not our decision to make. Nilithiel, you are not under our command. Do you wish to travel ahead with our two swift riders up there? And he points up to the top of the cliff. To
You may take my mare.
join-
I am not much for it. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, to join our kin in Dorthonion? Or would you travel with us to discover the fate of these humans that escaped the Orcs?
She stands. As she stands, you can tell she's actually pretty badly wounded. Um, there's a puddle of blood kind of beneath her left hip, and she cinches her belt tight. She says, "I would appreciate a swift horse. My people still are in Dorthonion, and if any of them still live, I would see them to safety. Perhaps our paths may meet again. Estedir and Terenion, if my memory serves me correctly. And in that time you would have my welcome and my thanks. For now I fear I must make haste from this place. Any aid you would give me would be most appreciated.
Yes, of course.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
he just, yes, of course, take my mare. I am not much of a rider, but she is a fair beast. She will serve you well. Please do try to keep her safe if possible. And he'll walk kind of back over to where he was before and lead his mare over to her.
She mounts on it and says, Estedir of Dorthonion, you will not be forgotten.
If that is so, then we have won the war. Otherwise, we all be forgotten. And he looks over to his uncle and kind of walks off a bit.
Terenion's been, as she mounted up, he was examining the bodies of the humans nearby, and he's trying to find a serviceable sword that's not kind of notched, broken, or soaked in blood. And when he eventually finds one, he picks it up, cleans it off, and then hands it to her hilt first and says, I think this would suit you better than that crude orcish blade. I'm sure its former owner would be pleased to see it in the hands of an ally, rather than lying to rust here on the field of battle.
She nods and holds the blade up. And as she does so, the first rays of morning in the east kind of crest over Himring, casting shadows over the dead orcs and everything around you. The fire starts to snuff out, and she holds it across the pommel of the horse. Very well. I will take this and treasure it. May it serve you well in the future. And then she rides off with the other two elves. She gone.
Yeah, Estedir turns to his uncle. Well, we should not stay in one spot for too long, but we could use to rest before we set out in earnest.
I agree. And Terenion will pick a sort of nearby copse of trees where they can be a little sheltered and not resting them on bodies, and says, soldiers of Medros, we will rest in those trees. And he leads them over there.
So you guys make camp. That means that you're going to be able to get rid of your, negative? Both of you had negative 6?
I think so.
Yeah, both of you have negative 6. You rest, camp for a while, and this dog keeps pestering you, and he seems pissed. He's like, "Ruff, ruff."
Yeah, Estedir gets some trail rations out and kind of tosses them to the dog at first.
The dog takes up some of the trail rations and scarfs them down. Then he starts flying down the path towards where those boots were headed. Ruff, ruff.
I think the dog wants us to go with it? When you want your sister around, she is not here. Talking to beasts and birds have never been my forte, Uncle.
And Terenion's kind of looking at it with his head on one side as he chews on a little food. He looks across at the creature. Did any of the men say they had any kind of skills with dogs, or
I think they said no, didn't they?
Yeah.
They said
Or
no.
they just shrugged it off.
Yeah.
Evil,
Um.
Lilith.
So okay,
Lilith.
Terenion will go over and say, look at the creature and awkwardly pat it. Um. And then, feeling rather self-conscious, he says, "What do you wish to show us, beast?"
He runs off down the trail, kind of to the north and west. He goes probably, 25 yards and stops, and he splays out his front legs and dips down towards the earth and it starts to bark again.
So Terenion's assuming he wants them to follow him, and he'll say, he'll turn to Estedir and say, nephew, if you're well enough rested, I think we should follow this creature.
Well, let's say this. I forgot to mention this. That brooch, you saw that Quiet has the same brooch on her cloak.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't know that Estedir would notice that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But he knows it's someone, obviously. He just says, hey, yes, of course, I am ready. We can follow it. It's, as my sister always says, there is secrets to the wild creatures of the worlds, and even hounds, I'm sure. A lower intelligence that we do not quite understand.
One of the many things that sets us aside from the orcs is that we respect the creatures of the earth. They may not be as blessed as we are, but they have a... well, perhaps wisdom is too strong a way to put it, but they have things to teach us. And he turns to the men and says, soldiers of Maedros, thank you for your courage and fortitude this night. Estedir and I will follow this creature. If we do not return in an hour, then you should leave and travel into Dorthonion. And may the Valar watch over you.
They nod. They slowly kind of make their way along a ridge line to the west, up towards where you had that Overwatch. The elf maiden is with them, and they give you a nod as the sun rises, and you guys follow the dog further into the woods, I suppose.
Okay, I'll leave my sword sheathed, but I'll unlimber my shield. And we'll keep following.
Yeah, Estedir's got his bow out, arrow ready, walking behind Terenion at some point.
All right. You head further into the woods. The sun is rising, but there's still that dark, oppressive wind from the north, and that smell of burnt woods, burnt flesh just permeates everything. And eventually, the dog barks, just bursts into a clearing and starts to bark. Ruff, 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 ruff. Set up here. What you see as you burst into a clearing, as a dog kind of rushes forth, is a man who's just completely emaciated on the top of a stone, kind of hunkering down. The blood is kind of dripping down the stone, and he is looking up towards the sky, screaming, "No! No! No more! No more! Take me, foul beasts. I am near death as it is. I can suffer no more of this torment." And the dog starts to run up towards the to the stone and starts to bark.
Yeah.
No,
I was just going to say Estedir is looking around just to make sure that there's nothing obvious there. That's good.
Yeah, and Terenion's looking particularly up into the sky, seeing as that was where the guy was looking. I don't know whether that was just drama or whether he was actually looking at something.
He was looking at something, and you see kind of encircling him of these giant winged shapes in the sky.
Oh boy.
Oh dear. Got a bad feeling about this.
Well, at least one of us has a
And
bow.
they're circling him, and every now and then one of them just swoops over, and you can almost see the chunk of flesh it takes out. And one of them even stops and like starts to chew on him for a while, and then the man just bats him away with the pommel of his sword, and the bat just flies into the air. And the dog continues to bark.
Yeah, I mean, Estedir would get ready and try to shoot one of them, I guess. What do these things look like? Oh, cool. Okay.
So they're up in the air now,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just use, since they're up in the air, we'll just say like it's like medium range or whatever.
I want long range.
So
They can't get to me. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever.
the speed is 4, so they're fast,
Oh, jeez. They're super fast.
super fast.
Speed 4.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
They can
swoop
get pretty much
down.
anywhere in one go. Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
Okay. Initiative?
Yeah, roll initiative. Let's see if I, nope. Yep, roll initiative. Let me see if I did it right for these bats.
This is going to be cool.
Oh, sweet, it worked. Giant bat
Faster
2.
than us. We're slow, Uncle. Somehow. We're the slowest elves in Middle-earth. Beleriand. I'm sorry. Beleriand.
Still Middle Earth.
No, we take time to consider before we rush in.
We're still defrosting ourselves from the walk here.
Yeah.
Enormous bat goes first. There you go. All right. So with a speed 4, he can go what, 4 per one, four hexes per one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything's multiplied by 4. If his speed is 4. You can zip. And since they are more than 2 speed greater than us, they are not subject to opportunity attacks if we would have if it would happen. They're just too fast.
So that'd be 2. All right. Enormous bat will do 2 AP, so go there. Who will be next? Giant bat. He would be able to go able to be upon you with 2 AP, correct? So how do you do like the
What?
so like it'd be 1 AP for him to go 4. How many to go 5?
Go 5. Well, so it's small. It's so.
2?
So basically, he move. Okay, so if he moves, it's all rounded down.
I've never done any flying stuff
Yeah, it's all rounded down. So how many hexes did he move?
before.
He moved 4. That's
That'd
1
be
AP.
1.
If he moves 5, it's 2 AP because you always round down. Because there's.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so it'd be Estedir up.
I've never done any
Next.
flying stuff either, so this is.
I know. This is also. Oh, you'll see. You'll see. You'll see.
Playtesting.
Training's up. For Estedir.
Yeah, Estedir first.
Yeah, Estedir would go first. Estedir, then Terenion, then Giant Bat 2. Still there, Ted?
Yeah. So point blank. Is he point blank range to me? This one.
He's kind of a. Well, no, yeah. He's coming down towards you.
Yeah.
Say that. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do a. Man, these things probably gonna have pretty good. I'm just gonna do a normal. Which one is he? He's okay. Yeah. So if I can't aim. Normal shot. Just trying to stick him real quick. Point blank. So bow. Boom. No benefit. 4 additional mods. Hardship no. Point blank or adjacent, correct? Point blank or adjacent? Yeah, I'll take that. That's not terrible. 22, does that hit?
22. So we got 22. Oh, is the defense is already in there?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. 18 minus 18. So I rolled a 40. Yeah.
Yep. So that'll be a wound.
Well, it's 22 plus 4, 26 minus whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's mortal danger, so he takes an injury as well. I have that ability.
nice. Okay. Tell me what it looks like as you hit this thing.
He's actually taken
Takes
aback
an
by it
injury,
at first,
injury, and a wound.
and it zips at him, and he just almost just instinctively, this thing getting so close so quickly, he has to like do a hurried shot, but luckily he's able to get one off just as it gets close. But it's all kind of a rush thing, and it just sticks an arrow in the underbelly of the thing.
That's just 3 for you, right?
Yeah, that's 3 for me.
All right, I'll
Yeah,
add
cool.
it.
I'll just let you add them unless you tell me otherwise.
Yeah, I have that little macro for
Oh,
adding
yep,
them.
cool,
It's
cool.
pretty easy. So what happens, Estedir? You see, you hit this thing. I don't know if you've ever been a kid and shot a bird with a BB gun. They just fall. I guess I was a mean kid. I did it every once in a while. They fall from the ground, and this thing just starts to look a little different, and it lands on the ground, and it's in a different form, and it just looks at you, hisses, as it's right in front of you. Give me a lore check.
Oh my god. Nor the character nor the player knows what this is. I suck at lore, so I'm gonna fail for sure.
You don't know what it is.
Correct.
You don't know.
I have
As far as you know, this is something that Morgoth came up with
Can I have a
in
go?
the depths of Thangordrim, and it fucking is scary, and it's freaking you out.
Can I have a go? Both things so I can see
your
it quite
turn.
clearly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, can I have a go at identifying what it is?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I get +5. One roll.
Yep.
Aha.
This is a vampire. A winged bat who takes the shape of a corrupted man. Very famous as being the servants of Sauron. One of the enemy's chief lieutenants.
Ooh.
Not good.
Yeah, second sort of servant of Sauron we've seen that's...
And
Okay.
they have magic.
So yeah, I think now I can do a charge, can't I, to just close the distance and attack?
You have to move at least 4 hexes. I
Oh,
believe.
is there is there an
The,
offensive action to just step
yeah,
in?
lunge.
Lunge.
Yeah.
That's
Negative
thank you.
3 to your attack.
Cool, I'll do that.
4 AP.
I'm just gonna lunge there. So I'll add 4 AP. Step into here.
Thank you.
So you don't let your archers get into melee. And then yeah, I'll attack at a -3 here. So what have I got? Okay. I'll attack with our Calmaril. It's just a normal attack. I've got 1 benefit from my skill. My additional mods, so I've got -3 from this action and +4 from the sword, so +1. Okay.
Nice. That was a good roll.
So yeah, as the thing is fixated, Terenion kind of steps and lunges from the side.
He's going to use his base defense. It's a wound. What's it look like as you... There you go. What's it look like as you... Your sword, its blood is not black. It's ruby red blood, unlike an orc, comes out of it.
Yeah, so yeah, Terenion sort of lunges him from the side, and he does actually. His sword sinks about sort of 4 inches deep into its side, and he kind of withdraws and twists it in one motion. And the blood kind of hangs in the air because as he withdraws the sword, he kind of flicks it off the blade. And he just observes it almost in slow motion, and is wondering why it's not black like an orc. But then sort of puts it from his mind as a detail that's not going to help him right now.
Yeah, 8 hexes with 2 APs, unfortunately. Let's put him below the vampire. Vampire goes next. The vampire Terenion looks up at you, and it's kind of like its wings are folding down as it slowly comes up at you. It even grabs your sword as you penetrate it. Your sword glows with orcs, but the thing's grasp around your sword just it dims it even. And then it looks at you and it starts to say something very, very softly. It says, "Deep did he dwell, and long did he sleep. Beneath the mountains his wrath did keep. A memory of Ardamard. Upon Ardgalen the body's charred. For my master has come. Awake, awake. Nightmares of blood his thirst did slake. Now drift to sleep. I know not when. You will return from oblivion." And he reaches out to touch you, and you feel something chill going through your bones. And see if this works. first magic of the game. The true magic.
Of course you asked me about this. How do you do this? What is this?
It's a level 1 spell. Touch.
We're immune.
You're immune?
That's all you need. That's all you need to know.
No, I don't think so.
No.
1 spell. Oh, it's only 2. Your magic defense is higher than that, right?
It's already worked in. It's a negative. It's a -9. It's already in there. That's a success. Look at the -9 at the very end. Yeah.
Oh, your magic.
Yeah,
okay.
because it's -3 his injury, -12 plus 6, which is the wounds that he has, and then the -9 is magic defense. So yeah, that was a success.
So.
And this is magic, not a power, obviously, or is it?
Yep, it's magic. You know, it's magic. 3 AP.
Oh, it's not in there because, yeah, you don't do magic defense. You do defense dice, so it doesn't matter.
So I do. You do the die according to the level of spell. So it's level 1, it's one die, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But doesn't he get to oppose it?
It is not
with-
It is not. No, you cannot. He does not actively defend it. No. Because magic, you can't actively defend.
It says resistance.
Yeah,
Stamina.
but that's for powers. That's the power version.
So he's asleep for 3 AP.
Yep. So he would fall prone,
Good.
drop his weapon.
Good. Good.
No.
Finally. Tell me what that looks like, Terenion.
It's bloody awful is how it looks.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you 3. I'll give you 3 AP.
So Terenion is looking at this creature, and he's trying to size up the other two and kind of prepare himself to defend against the others. And then he ignores the singing at first, but then he kind of shakes his head, and starts looking like he's trying to shake something off, and then all of a sudden he just pitches forward. His sword clatters to the ground. I don't know whether his shield does, because that's on his arm. Maybe
Wait,
it
what
does.
is his magic defense? I'm sorry. What is your magic defense?
Magic defense 10.
Does it?
It says for some reason maximum is saying 8 at the moment, but I think current is 10, so I think that's right.
So -3 minus 2d10. That's
I
his
don't
wounds.
think. I don't.
Minus 1d10.
That's why I don't think. I didn't think the magic defense was cooked in.
It doesn't appear to be. That's why I was looking. Because okay, I'm looking at it. It's -3. That's his injury. -2d10. That's his wounds. -1 is his. Or I'm sorry, -1d10, which is a 9, is the spell
Magic.
level. Hold on, he might not have failed. Each character has magic to this word effect. This for some base defense in combat. Yeah. He actually he passed that. Yeah, he passed that.
So this is. That's why I thought.
It's
too. I didn't think the
basically
magic
their
defense was cooked in.
his base defense. Now he still can't actively roll, but he can.
So what's a -12 plus 6?
Hold on. -12 plus 6. -12 plus 6 is his wounds. He's got 2 wounds. -3 is his injury. -12 plus 6 is his wounds.
Oh yeah. Okay. The NPC's
Mhm.
wounds. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the wounds, you would have got him.
Yes. Yeah, he's pretty hurt.
Yep. All right. So Terenion, tell me how you shook it off then.
Oh,
Shake it off.
yeah, just like Tay Tay. So Terenion, yeah, it's pretty much the same. He doesn't uh he, again, he doesn't see it kind of coming because he's watching the other two, and then he kind of becomes aware of it, and he kind of blinks and tries to shrug it off, but unlike what I first thought, he does actually manage to kind of gather himself and kind of shakes his head and turns to face the creature and says, "I will not succumb to your foul sorcery."
As you do that, the other one comes up behind you.
Goddamn mosquito.
It's like, I won't succumb to your foul sorcery, but I might succumb to
It
yours.
does the same thing because he can move and still have room to do it. Yeah, yeah. Because if he had, he would go to.
Yeah, he can move 4 hexes for
Yep,
1
yep,
AP.
Yeah, 3.11.
And he could even run, quote unquote.
And then he would cast it for 3. So I'm gonna add 4 to him. But then he also will do the exact same thing. Do Psyche on you.
Jeez, man. Trying to put us to Sneep. So, oh, yeah.
He rolls a 27.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's your magic defensive, but I think that would put you down.
-1 on the spell dice. You rolled a 1 for that.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Would you like a nap, Uncle?
So he puts you down. So you can just leave that 7.16 on there.
But his AP is jacked up. So you know.
Oh, the bat? I wonder why it does that.
It's done it a couple
It
times.
has something to do with the so I'll just do 6.1. There you go. Alright, Terenion, you're asleep. And you drop your stuff. You drop your sword.
Okay.
Enormous Bat's turn now.
God, it's not my turn now? Oh, man. It is. It's the other bat, yeah.
I don't think he can get to you and do anything, though.
Unless he charges or something. He could charge.
No. I think she is going to gloat a little bit. 5. Is going to fly over to you, Estedir.
Mm-hmm. It could even lunge, because it's got speed so high.
Uh, 3.27 though. But what I'm gonna say it's going to do, just as a free, is it changes its form. Just a light's right behind you.
You know it's a bad day when there's reversible tokens, man. Yeah, is it my turn? I hope.
Yep, it's your turn. And the one that the light's behind you just looks totally different. You can sense power behind you, and you hear a voice say, "No, no, no! Don't run, my darling. Come with us. Come with me."
What AP is she at?
You're up. 3.27.
Oh god, she's only well then she goes again. If she's really at 3.27.
Oh, the 2/7 is. I keep messing that up. I guess she does get to go.
Mm-hmm.
She might just take you out. Just end the session.
I have Indomitable. That's not for this, though. Okay.
She's got the level 2 one.
You can cast whatever you want. I mean, she can bump it to level 5 if she wants. It's not static.
What's your magic defense?
Not nearly high enough.
So with a level 2 one, it's
6 AP.
plus 3 AP per level, so plus 6
Yep.
AP.
I'd be down to 9 then. Boop. We sneeping.
So how long would it take for them just to wrap you up and take you off?
Well,
You guys went off by yourselves,
grapple
right?
is 3. So, and then drag. I mean, I mean, honestly, they could grab us right now. So she'd be at 6. So this guy that's hurt could go and could grab somebody. I mean, they could try to grapple us. I mean,
What about this human though? Isn't he?
I think he's tied up
He's pretty hurt.
or hurt.
He's all hurt, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Ah.
I mean, they could start grabbing us and trying to
Yeah.
lift us off. I mean, you could do that. Like they would grapple and they would start to drag. Technically. And we wouldn't be able to act until we came up in initiative again.
Yep, during weapon will just grab you. Just grab you and start tying you up, I guess.
Grapple's 3.
And you couldn't oppose it, right?
No,
So
you can't. Mm-mm.
yep. So she's got you. I'm just going.
Well, it wouldn't be
6 on
her because she has 6 AP, right? Because she cast.
Oh yeah.
It would be
she
the
cast
guy that's hurt, doing it to somebody.
tracker, so she would do 3. Yeah, the guy that's hurt would grapple Terenion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd add 3 on him.
Yep. Let's see. Grapple target is. Okay. Technically, it'd be against base defense, but I think prone. If you're prone, or if you're unconscious, I don't. Yeah, I think you use base defense, but
Giant Bat 2 would probably just kind of land and turn into his vampire self.
he could drag him.
And
Well, no, he has to grapple him
and,
first.
he's already grappled.
The new one.
Yeah, I mean, Terenion's already grappled.
Yeah, but by the guy that's gonna drag him is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I guess you could start taking him away.
Well, who grappled him? Wasn't the guy that was wounded?
The guy that's hurt. And this other one's
Yeah,
is
but
there.
he couldn't technically. He would have to grapple him too to take him. Or you could hit.
So that would be 3.
Yeah. So you're grappled by 2 people now, which is. Let me pull up the grappling rules because it looks like it's going to come up. Let me find it.
So, and then Turing Weapon was going to grapple Estedir. She's up again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You guys, this going to be Hills Have Eyes style.
Yeah, so she can grapple him.
So I'm going to add 3 to her.
Mhm.
She's got you.
So we're both considered here. I don't know how this will look going into
You're
the.
both considered awake. I think we're just kind of almost a narrative at this point.
I mean, we'll get a chance to like not okay, so who's up next? Terenion, or this guy? Oh, the guy who has him is up next. So He could just fly.
No, Terenion
No,
is
he's
up.
not. 716,
He has
725. 725 is up.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
basically, he could just fly in the air as a drag maneuver, right? And he would go as far as drag allows. So let's look. Drag. So he can move anytime it says 3 hexes, you multiply it by their speed. So he can give 12 hexes into the air. And so if Terenion broke from the grapple, then he would fall. But it's up to you how you guys want to do it.
That sounds pretty good to me. Yes, going to get taken off.
Yeah, so you would give him, I don't know, 3 AP, and then Terenion would be up, but in the middle of the air to decide what he wanted to do. He doesn't have his weapon, doesn't have...
What do you want to do?
So what? I come round and I'm being dragged off by these two, right?
Just one of them in the air, I think.
You're way up in the air at this
Yeah,
point.
12 hexes.
Way up in the
12
air.
hexes, because drag is technically just moving someone. But since they're
12
flyers...
hexes into the air. You're like up in the air.
Yeah.
You're way high in the air.
Wow.
When you wake up, you're like up in the air.
Oh boy, and I haven't got my sword, right?
It would be on the ground unless Bo says otherwise.
Yeah.
It's on the ground.
It's feeling like Blaze of Glory time. Terenion tries to grab one of its wings and just see if he can make it, not plummet, but kind of see if he can make it kind of drag it so that it can't sustain the flight, and we'll sort of head groundwards, but hopefully not plummeting.
Might plummet.
Yeah, trying to avoid that, but it may not be possible.
So how's that work? Is it grapple versus grapple?
So, okay, so the way it works, I'm going to paste, so, alright, I'll just kind of read it. Let's see. So, defensive grappler, which is what he is. You can try to reverse the grapple. So that's what you have to do. You have to reverse the grapple, and then you can let go if you want to. But, okay, so I'm just going to paste it in here. It probably will look ugly in the chat, but we can go through it.
That's pasted, yeah.
Okay, offensive actions require skill check. No. Attack actions, I'll use no. Offensive and defensive actions that targets a character other than the character besides the defensive grappler. No. Offensive grapplers that do not let go defend with their base defense only. No. Defensive grapplers. Defensive grapplers that use grapple action to change from... So this is what you would be doing. Offensive grab...
Okay.
He would just have to use his base defense. You can't let go.
I mean, that's...
Yeah.
He has you in
No,
the
it's
air.
you don't do that. You use grapple versus grapple, as you're grappling for who has the better position.
So I use hand to hand.
Yeah, everybody should use hand to hand. Now, but the thing is, offensive grappler might get a. I'm just trying to look. Use offensive actions. Let me use.
They're hand to hand.
Oh, it didn't explode.
Is it
No,
supposed
hold
to?
on,
Are you
see,
trained?
Oh no, I'm not trained. That's why. It was not supposed to explode, so it won't.
They're trained.
You do have that -6 though, dude. I think you don't. I don't think you're supposed to. Those 2 injuries.
Oh, did they
Oh,
get
Yeah,
it?
so you get a
forget to
20.
keep-
It's
So
pretty
20.
good.
Thanks. Yeah, I rolled 2 10s.
Here's his hand to hand. Boom. His wounds. Got him.
You can let go immediately. You're now the offensive grappler. You could fall. And maybe, I don't know if you want to do something with fate points. I don't know. That'd be up to... Falling damage is usually a hazard, so you'd have to depend to determine what rank it was, but...
Probably like a
Yeah.
rank 3
Oh
hazard
god,
from there.
I would do more than that personally, but
The thing is, I don't want to actually fall. I just want to hamper him so that
What's 12 hexes up?
yeah.
I mean, it lets you
It's
decide, right? I mean, I would say
Yeah.
it's usually long range, so I would say it's probably about 100 feet.
but why does he automatically fall?
He doesn't have to as
Why
long
not?
as you don't let go.
Yeah, I'm not aiming to let go. I'm aiming to try and grab one of his grab a leg and grab a wing, basically, and just kind of hamper his flight so that he loses altitude. So yeah, we'll probably crash, but I don't want to plummet.
Yeah. Well, that would be
So you come to, like grab onto him, and like, you tell me what it looks like. He just starts like just careen towards the ground.
Yeah, so yeah, Trenion's try to sort of grab a wing and make it difficult for him to actually fly or glide, and just trying to make it so that we're slowly, we're kind of spiraling towards the ground, and what he'll try and do, but may well not be able to do, is try and make sure that if we're going to hit something, he gets the vampire's body between whatever we hit and himself. But that may well not be possible.
This guy's up. This other one
mm,
next to Estedir.
mhm.
I guess he let go. He's going to move closer to Estedir. And he's going to... That's 1 AP,
Yeah, he wouldn't.
so he wouldn't be up
Yeah, he
anymore.
wouldn't be able to grab me. But she goes next, so she can do the same thing as the other one did. And then I'm gonna have to do a hand-to-hand roll. This is gonna be not good.
She already has you. So
Yeah, she can
gonna fly
drag.
up.
She can just drag.
Yeah, she'll fly up like, same,
Mhm.
let's just say, same distance. So that's 3... 3 AP to her.
Oh my gosh, they have
And that's
they have
Estedir's up.
4 strength. I'm never gonna get away. I'm never gonna get away. My bow's on the ground. Hold on. Defensive grappler can use offensive actions, but they take 2 hardships. Okay. Okay. Give me just a second. Can I draw an attack? It's 5 AP. I'm going to draw an attack at this point. I don't know what else to do. So, I draw an attack and I take 2 hardships on my attack. So basically she's like carrying me up in the air and he tries to pull out his sword and just stab her in the gut. And this is what it looks like. Oh god, I take 3 hardships. Okay, well, here we go. Alright, so 5 AP for me. Sword. Oh, oops. Sword. No benefit. No additional mods. 3 hardships. That's a hit, baby. Well, I don't know. She gets to roll, but... So the way it reads...
That's nothing.
While in a grapple.
Base defense 24.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
What does it look like if she carries you off?
Yeah, he gets his sword out and he just kind of tries to stab her, but like it just barely cuts her leg, and she just is flying up in the air, and he just looks bewildered, I guess, as he just looks at the ground, becoming more and more distant.
What would you guys say if I just carried you off?
I'd be fine.
I'm not gonna screw you
No,
over with like
I,
the game.
I,
You know.
I go where
Okay.
the story goes.
You down
Yep.
with it?
Sure.
Tell me what it looks like as they do this. They're carrying you towards where you want to go. Apparently, you see actually your troops, and they fire arrows up because they can see, because it's like morning time now, right? They see you getting carried away, and at first like, oh, eagles, you know, and they see you, and it's not that. There's a few arrows that go past Estedir and Terenion. You see like the man left alone on the rock with that lone vampire closing in on him. Donnybrook is barking, and you guys are getting taken away. You're flying towards Ladros, towards Dorthonion, and I'll let you guys roleplay what this feels and looks like as you're taken away.
Yeah, I already did. Go ahead, one.
Yeah, so Terenion is immensely he's angry, he's scared, but mostly he's frustrated. He's incredibly frustrated with being at the mercy of these creatures. He's frustrated that having led these men here, he's not around now to lead them out of it. Though at least he knows he's given them orders that will see them to safety. But and he's sad that after carrying his sword for more years than he could possibly count, it's just being left in a clearing here to be lost to the ages. And so he's incredibly frustrated as it's carrying him away. He's kind of flaming at it and aware that he's not doing much good, until eventually he just stops and kind of hangs limp and decides he's going to try and just calm himself and bide his time. And he looks over to Estedir as they fly to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of in the same state as you. He doesn't even think about his bow at first, right? Even though the hair on it is special because it's strung with Galadriel's hair, and he just it's a gear, man. It's a gear. It's got +3. He looks down, just kind of backwards, and just in shock as he flies above the ground, over just further and further and further away. Like, what can he do?
And as the scene ends, you guys are taken away over the mountains, leaving your friends behind, your weapons in the clearing. Not to mention that poor soul on the rock. And the barking of Donnybrook fading to the distance as your hope wanes. And we'll end that session.
You should have just flown up and gave us a 10 rank hazard. just
dropped you.
10 rank would be, let's see, roll just to see what it would do. 12d.
Capture is always better than death.
Yeah, usually it'd be 62 damage plus it'd be 64 total. Or no, sorry, 69.
I didn't know that would happen, but hey, it happens.
Yeah. 69 I think would kill me instantly.
Thought you'd have Quiet and her uncle with you, but it's all good.
Yeah.
So it happens. So it happens when you go off on your own.
69 would kill me instantly, yes. Yeah.
But what a way to go.
Dropped on your head by vampires in the first age.
Yeah, man. Vampire, first stage has all the good shit, man. Vampires, werewolves, there's everything.
Damn. Brutal.
Hope you had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just adding more depression to me tonight. Thanks, Bo.